actually we can produce a predictable outcome for the simulator. So if you actually want not just passing, not just to achieve a passing score, but a score that is, say, higher than 89, somewhere in 90s, we can change the percentage, but also change the range. Because, for example, if we only want like a 5% error and then we don't change the range, the default is actually 1 to 10, then that will produce like a 0, actually no error, because 5% of 10 would produce like a minimum threshold of like 1, rounded up. So you do have to increase the range when dealing with lower error rates like 5%, 2%, 3%. You do have to increase it to at least like 100 or even 1000 for those really low percentage. Why do you want to do that? Maybe you want to demonstrate or create a sample test with minimal error to show to your students, for example. Like you don't want to demonstrate like just a passing score, like 75, 76, 80, but you want it like actually to show a high achieving student, with just 2%, 4% error. So we can do that. We can create the simulator to have an outcome that is predictable, to meet the error rate that we want. So if you want it to just fail terribly, then mode 1, which is very random, it's just it just create a random answer and fine. And then mode 4, which is which producing all correct answers 100%. But if you actually want a bit of a drama, like 2% error rate or something like that, then the simulator is able to simulate that. So what question, when it will create an error, is random, but the outcome is not. So the outcome doesn't have to be unpredictable. Although you would be like, how do you do that when each time it's always each round is an independent variable. It actually does not depend on what happened prior to that or even after that. So the probability is always the same, 2% each time. So it's still a bit random, because even though it's an independent variable and it doesn't know like how many errors happened before, it still is. Although we can also create another logic to like, if it meets a certain error, then stop erroring, but I didn't do that. I just let it go, and it doesn't matter if it's an independent variable and it's not looking at other things. It's really just doing it again, doing its thing again, and then in every question number. So, but it is actually effective. It's actually able to increase the reduce the error rate. So